everyone, Easy22X here. We are gonna do a recap of week 5 and 6 for the Ray Ray Draft League. We did have some last minute trades, but as of right now, entering week 7, there will be no more trades between players or from the pool, because we wanted to make sure that some people are actually out of contentions for playoffs. So 2 weeks was the cap where we decided not to do things. But yeah, playoffs contentions, 2 weeks left in this Ray Ray Draft League, and let's talk about current standings. So for week 4, from the last video we talked, so Hive was still in first seed. Nathan's shallow supporters were still in second seed. Nothing had moved too much. So this is what we had week 4, which we talked a little bit about the video. Now, a lot of things have changed between week 5 and 6. We just finished week... We actually finished the last match of week 6 as I'm recording this video due to some time zones and IRL happening and tournaments and etc. But yeah, look at this bracket. Look at this ranking and get ready, because week 5, a lot of upsets happen. Boom. So, week 5, we saw Hive, Ice House, versus the Wild Morcros battling it out. Ally Switch actually ended up 2-0 in Hive, giving him the edge of being the first seed. A reminder, the Wild Morcros did lose the week before, but it was to 2-1. So for differential purposes, Ally actually ended up benefiting by 2-0 Hive. Funnily enough, I think Hive also kind of lost because he didn't look at the player's card, and there was some changes that affected how he played versus the Wild Morcros. But hey, life happens, right? And then the second upset we got taken was undertaking Umbrians, taking the 3rd seed. So the shallow supporters got to move forward. Justified Joey actually got to stay on the top 5. And then another upset that happened was Highest Fan Clubs and Fallable Furai taking beating 2 of their opponents that week to make it to seed 9 and 10. And this is going to be really important, as I mentioned. As of right now, entering week 5, still everyone's game. Potentially maybe not seed 13 and 14, but top 5 has not changed much. They shuffle a little. They still fight each other a little bit. Probably one of the toughest schedules coming is gonna be for Justified Jinx, because he does battle Hive, and he does battle, I believe, Ally. So if he wants to stay in the top 5, it's gonna be a really, really tough week. Unlike other weeks where I usually will talk a little bit about ranking, about matches, we're actually not gonna be going through them this time. Mostly just power rankings and playoff implications. Anyway, so this is our final standings for the power ranking for week 6. Ally ended up winning his battle against Bino No Skill. So Phil takes a 2-1, taking it to 3 games though. Very, very, very still pretty good for Phil taking it to game 3, because Hive literally could have still fought for the first place if he unfortunately ended up losing his match against, I believe, Diamond from the Sideguard Kai. As you see, they got to move to steps 11. We just got additionally actually, if I'm mentioning doing this. Oh yeah, so Shadow supporters won between Justified Joe and them. So Shadow supporters once again get the 2nd seed back. Umbrians won their match 2. They're staying in seed 3. And then, as mentioned, Ice Houses ended up losing, but pretty safe. I believe that Hive potentially could still be fine if he loses one more. I do believe he gets dicey if he loses the next 2 weeks though. And same from Justified Jinx. I think those are the 2 more iffy. They were they started pretty strong in this season, and now are losing a little bit. So I do know that there's another regional coming back, and stuff might be happening. One thing that I want to point out though, a huge shoutouts to Fallable Fury Ravs. They have been moving from the bottom of the bottom and clawed the way back up, getting the upset against Justified Jinx, getting the upset against Ice House. Pocoyo is just bringing it back. And he has to keep this momentum though. 2 weeks left. Pocoyo has to absolutely win, or you're gonna be depending on how the other matches go. Angelo from the Kansas Jay Haluches still pretty steady, no issues there. And then Tutti Frutti right now on the A seed. So this is very important. As of right now, top 5, I am pretty confident that they soft lock into playoffs. Murkrows and Shellos 100% lock into playoffs. It's just gonna be a matter of seeding. 3 from A is could be changed. So High Fan Clues and Invanda City are right behind it. One other additional shout out is to Nimbasa City. Okay, Nibs actually has been playing 2-1s or 1-2s. Like he actually has been playing all 3 getting the 2 game 3s every single time, which is gonna be very very important for him for differentials. So a 2-0 will be help, but even if he just does 2-1 again in the next 2 weeks, as long as he's winning, there's a huge chance that an upset could happen and that he will just squish right to the seed A. Unfortunately, I do believe, given the 2 weeks, Bino No Skill and Den Hag Heroes, as well as Peter C. Puffs, are probably out of the contention for playoffs. Saigar Kai could bring it back, but I do believe there's a little bit of a number scenarios that we have to do, which we're gonna be talking about it briefly. But yeah, this is our week 6 ranking. It's really cool how they have been moved the last 3 weeks, and a big shout out for Shello supporters and Mawao Murkrows, right? I was a little worried about Ally. He had a game that I actually had predicted him to win, ended up losing, but hey, he got the accept on the undefeated from Sohai, and now no one is undefeated. Murkrows and Shellos still really strong. I believe also Undertaking Umbrians was ranked predicted very low too. So three standings, 3 predictions that have gone south, and I mean I'm still happy. I'm more than okay being wrong, because I like to see the underdogs shine. Obviously, I personally don't think Mawao Murkers are underdogs. Ally is a veteran drafter, so and Nathan kind of knows his way, even though he likes to think he doesn't. All right, so we're gonna talk about playoffs implications right now. First of all, red means that these people don't have a chance to qualify for playoffs, which is Pickle, Catfish, and Phil. Bino Cole, No Skill, the Peter, CD, and Dean Hanks will not be able to, given their current scores. That means that the strength of schedule will matter for the seeds that are 5th to 8th, in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about Ally first. Ally had actually probably one of pretty decent, tough schedule. I mean, Umbreon is 3rd seed. Like they did have Pico and Catfish, which are and Phil, who are all 3 out. But Phil had a really hot streak coming in. So it's not super easy. And then he ends the season actually pretty strong. Like both Joey and Angelo are gonna be battling really, really hard to try making it off. So Ally could go easy, but he probably wants to secure the 1st seed potentially. But yeah, Ally has Joey for week 7 and Angelo for week 0. Both these players need to win. Actually, Angelo not. Both Joey and Angelo probably do not want to lose in either of these weeks, because it will affect their playoffs implications. Ally, if he goes losing, probably is better if he's It's probably better for him if he loses with a 1 win, so he is -1 point instead of -2 points. But he knowing Ally, he's probably not gonna stop. But yeah, top way to end of the week. Both of them highly looking to the playoffs. Next we have Angelo, who has Pocoyo for week 7, and then Ally, as I mentioned, then Agwith. This is still also tougher for Angelo, because Pocoyo is on 7th seed. He's the Angelo is the 5th seed right now. So whoever wins this match will make the next week really, really important. So Pocoyo and Angelo probably gonna be prepping really hard to try making their dream to playoffs right now possible. Now next we have Brett. Brett doesn't have it even easier. I think, look at this schedule, Brett. Brett has Sohive, Angelo, Pocoyo, Ally, Pico, Catfish, Umbri. This is kind of a rough schedule. Like starting like with Sohive and Angelo, and then having Ally you also pick for. Like Umbreon and Joey, not gonna be easier. Brett, I think personally has probably the toughest schedule. Unless I look through down there and maybe see something different. But given the fact that only two people are out on her schedule, and like Pocoyo claw their way out, and same with Umbreon, because I believe Umbreon had a tough first 2 weeks, and then Joey has consistently been top five. Brett's gonna fight, so Joey doesn't have it easy, and we're gonna talk a little bit about it. But once again, these two people also looking for the playoffs, so week 7 is gonna be really important. Brett winning week 6 against Catfishy, huge, 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 huge for her. All right. So we're talking about Catfishy here, who's playing Nathan and Pocoyo. Here's the thing, Catfishy is out. But Catfishy can create upsets because Nathan right now is the second seed, and Catfishy can actually make sure Nathan stays in second seed, or make it a little easier if he fell at it, but he probably won't. I do think this is gonna be a very interesting match because Catfishy has been bringing the Jigglypuff, the Articuno with Sheer Call, a lot of very unique teams with unique moves. So, and Nathan is playing. I think Nathan said he wanted to play series like, was it series 9, series 10? Nathan was just going for a very specific theme for his team, and he mostly got it working. So we'll see what happens here. Fishy did beat Ally, which I think was probably one of the biggest upset. And Ally had to climb back from that loss, which he had so hyped the next week. So 2 weeks after. So that really helped Ally a lot. And and then for week 8, Fishy has Pocoyo, who once again is also trying to make it to playoffs. So Pocoyo, but Fishy probably decides Pocoyo's fate in this battle. And once again, it depends on how Pocoyo does week 7, but this are looking super dicey. Now we get Diamond next. Diamond has Pico, who is completely out, and then Nathan in week 8. And this is obviously a little odd, right? Pico has probably gotten a few upsets in the season, especially coming to replace the initial player, and she has won a couple matches, and she has taken the matches to game 3s. So this is gonna be interesting. Diamond is trying to climb back. He got a super gigantic upset to make it, to have a little bit of chance, because Diamond right now is in seed 11. Diamond's chances of making it to playoffs are very, very, very hard. He absolutely cannot afford to lose week 7 and 8 for even a slim of a chance to make it out. And given that his opponents are the number 2 seed for week 8 and the number 14 for week 7, this is actually pretty important. So, Nathan might take it easy on week 8 because he might be locking to playoffs by then. But he shouldn't be sleeping on Pico, because Pico maybe was like, you know what? I need another friend down here with me. So, very, very important, because when a player has less stakes, the pressure is off them and they can pop off. I've seen that a lot happening in other team tours. I know that Draft Leagues is a little bit different, but it could happen. And I said, Diamond made an upset last week beating Sohive, and I believe that he can make another upset happen. All right, now we get Fruity, who is our number 8 seed coming into week 7. Fruity had Nips, Joey, Diamond, Angelo, Catfish, Umbreon. I think a relatively neutral schedule. But now, once again, he's gonna get tested with Sohive. Sohive is in a 2-lose streak, and he might still be fine if he loses one more time. But Sohive, please don't lose. Fruity, I'm so sorry, but Sohive needs 1 win. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, if Fruity wins this, it locks him pretty much into playoffs, in my opinion, because on week 8 he has Phil, who is actually out, and there could be some friendship happening, or there could be some really crazy stuff. I do think Fruity's team looks favorable over Phil's in that matchup. Binsu so high is a little bit more tricky, but I absolutely think that there's a big chance of Fruity making it and staying in say A, especially given that he could get the Gazette, and even if he loses week 7, winning week 8 is probably a big chance and safe for him. Next, we have Joey. Joey has stayed on top 5 this entire time, being with a pretty neutral schedule, fighting a lot of friends, but probably his toughest opponent, Ally, is this week. Now, remember, Catfishy was able to get the upset as the underdog versus Ally. Can Joey, who it is kind of known as an underdog in Team Tours in general, bring that upset against the giant number 1 seed Ally Switch's Pain? Well, we'll see. Otherwise, he gets Brett on week 8, and depending on what happens in week 7, Brett and Joey will be probably high chances of fighting for a playoff spot. So not an easy week 7 and 8 for Joey. Probably easier if he can get the upset, because like I said, Ally can afford losing both of those the next 2 weeks if he wanted to. But then it means he doesn't secure the first seed. And knowing Ally, I know he definitely wants to potentially have the first seed. Or he might start it, looking at stuff. Anyway, then we get Mega Umbreon. I'm not gonna lie, Umbreon. When I saw you like, your draft, and we kind of like helped you a little with it, I wasn't sure if you were gonna do very hard, and you have proved me wrong. Mega Umbreon had a pretty decent schedule. Had both Ally and Joey, who also are in play. Like everyone except Pickle, so far they all are in player. They all are potentially going to playoffs, and they get Brett next. Brett is coming on a pretty hot streak, and potentially, whoever between Umbreon and Brett, like Umbreon obviously is in a safer cushion because on week 8 he gets Nips, who, depending on how week 7 goes, he's probably low chance of making it to playoffs. So maybe Nips will be more relaxed, or maybe try to create an upset too. But yeah, week 7 is gonna be super important for Umbreon for the playoffs implications, in my opinion. Next, we have Nathan, aka the Shallow teams. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of the better schedules for Nathan to try stealing seed 1 from Ally. So, as you can see, Nathan got a red and a yellow. Red means that Catfish is, off play contentions. But like I mentioned, Catfish did beat Ally. I mean, watch out for those sheer calls, Nathan, because Catfishy will hit that and, GG's. And then you got Diamond, who is currently in 11th, trying to win, because especially if Diamond wins week 7, I'm pretty sure, he's gonna be prepping super hard to make it. So, in a way, Nathan has quote an easier week 7 and 8, but as I mentioned, when there's no pressure on you and there's a sheer call that can hit, I think Nathan has to watch out. Even if he does lose, though, I'm pretty sure he will make it to playoffs. I would highly suggest you at least make it game 3s if he's losing. Next, we got Nips. Alright, Nips is currently on the 10th spot. He absolutely needs to win week 7 and 8. And honestly, his schedule makes it possible. Again, he got one of the people that are completely out. And then Umbreon, who he probably could afford to lose given his but it would depend on how the other people do by week 7. But there is a high chance, I think Nips versus Phil is gonna be a very cool match because Nips is the Colossal team and Phil is the Torkoal Venus team, right? So on paper, Phil should win. So Nips has to be very, very, very careful because week 7 he absolutely needs to win for any playoff chances. This is why he's on the yellow spot. He cannot afford to lose week 7. Week 8 is a little debatable, but absolutely has to win this week to keep his dreams alive for playoffs. Now, Pico unfortunately is one of our players that are already out. But hey, they get Diamond and Sohive. They absolutely can mess up Diamonds by winning. Because that means Diamond won. If Diamond loses week 7, he absolutely probably will not gonna make it to playoffs. So Hive, on the other hand, probably can afford losing this week. But I mean, who knows what might happen, right? But yeah, Pico could make Diamond's dreams, crush the Diamond's dreams. There we go. I knew I had a pun there somewhere. Anyway, next we have Phil. Phil is unfortunately another of our players that is completely out. However, he holds in his hands Nips and Fruity's playoffs dreams. Fruity might not be yellow right now, but Fruity is right at the 8th spot. And Nips, like I mentioned, cannot afford to lose at all if he wants even a slightly chance of making it out. So, Phil, looking very favorable versus Nip MU-wise. Fruity, kind of a little tougher. It's a battle of friends. And I know he also has Milwaukee Regional, so it's gonna be tough, but I believe in them. It's gonna be a pretty intense match. And then, man, I forgot how many of us. Next, we have Pocoyo. I'm not gonna lie, Pocoyo. I was worried. You have impressed me. You have made it probably one of the other ones that I was like, what are you doing in top 8? Pocoyo currently is now in tops on the 7th spot and has Angelo and Catfishy. This is not the worst. Pocoyo, given that he's in the 7th spot, if he can take Angelo to game 3 and then beat Catfishy, I believe he should be pretty secure in his playoff chances. But beating Angelo not only will help his schedule and points, but probably putting him pretty safe versus Catfishy and the call, sync and sheer call techniques that Catfish really likes to use. So, Pocoyo, if you make it, you probably are the most underdog because I believe you were at the bottom of the bottom for the longest time and you have stepped it up way up. So, best of luck. And then, last but not least, my best friend, So Hive, Ice House. After 4 weeks of being undefeated, he fell and lost versus Ally Switch's Pain and then lost to also Diamond. Although, I correct myself, I think it was versus Diamond that he didn't realize that Diamond had Weezing and cost him game. He did take it to game 3 at least, but that's a pretty unfortunately after, losing the undefeated streak. I mean, Ally was going to be pretty tough, and Diamond probably beating Sohive wasn't upset. However, Sohive doesn't have the worst schedule. He can afford one more loss. If he loses week 7, he absolutely cannot lose week 8. But thankfully, week 8, again, is on paper someone that is Coco out. And I say Coco out mostly because I don't want to say that Pico's going to throw. But, on paper, this schedule is okay. Just like Pocoyo, even if they both lose this week, week 8 is very favorable to them. But unlike Catfish though, Pico hasn't really shown to like sheer call or sing. So I believe will be a little bit more relaxed versus Pico. Probably do want to watch out for the beat up strats, but Sohive does have follow me. So that would be that. So I think his match versus Fruity will be probably the most important one. To decide whether or not he wants to try getting the first seed back. Because like I said, Ally has a pretty tough schedule. And as upset could happen, and he's only one game behind. So if Suhai can chew the next few opponents, and Ally falls a little bit behind, there's a chance for Suhai to make it back in the top 3, because you don't want to be fighting Ally too early, right? So yeah, these are our guesses, players' implications. It's getting super intense. I have like this bracket ready and excited to talk about. But as I mentioned, Ally and Nathan, 100% absolutely locked to playoffs. They are safe. I believe Mega Umbreon and Sohive 80% lock into playoffs. Sohive is a little bit more iffy given that he lost twice, but we will see. And then it's pretty shaky once we get to 5th to 8th. Those last 3 spots are probably the most shaky ones, and their schedule is not easy. Not easy at all. Anyway, and that is it for the video. If you guys feel like I missed something, should I hype someone, feel free to comment in the below. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and let's get ready for the next 2 weeks. Bye!